Hey guys, it's Jared. Welcome back to Awake to Copper. As far as I can see, there's only three real metals to invest in: gold, silver, and copper. But I'm not sure that copper is the bronze medalist in that competition, because he's used to make everything, including bronze medals. That reminds me, I used to train under Greg Troy at Bulls before he went on to be the head coach of the University of Florida and then the Olympics. And he was fond of me. He was fond of telling me, Jared, pull your head out of your ass. And you know, he was right. And so I'd like to take this moment to advise all of you to do the same and start looking into copper. It's the future. All right, let's take a listen to what these gurus have to say about it.
The copper market is expected to enter into deficit, which is forecast to increase to 5 to 10 million tons per year by the end of the decade as new demand gathers pace from energy transition applications and the power infrastructure required for the electrification of everything, including data centers, as well as emerging markets such as India, and, as Robert has pointed out in recent presentations, from military material. This positive market outlook has not necessarily generated a corresponding supply response, as there are relatively few projects in the pipeline, and miners appear to be holding back in the face of increasing risks, costs, and timescales of project development. Robert Friedland, let's start with you. In addition to the forecast supply gap by the end of the decade, what impacts do you think the new sources of demand are having on reshaping the copper sector?
Well, human evolution is just can be measured by the quantum of electrical energy used per person. And it's done nothing but go up throughout human history. So on the assumption that our species doesn't blow itself up in thermonuclear war, as we electrify the world economy, we're going to use a lot more copper metal. That's for sure. There's no doubt about it. And it's gotten harder to find new copper capacity. Everything about the enterprise is getting more and more difficult.
It's a simple story, copper. You can put up a chart showing global electricity demand and global copper demand, and they go hand in hand. And do we think we're going through a more electricity intensive phase of growth? I do think we are. We're in a world now where we are looking at maybe artificial intelligence being the next geopolitical battleground. Now, for that to happen, you need grid resilience. And grids, of course, big consumers of copper. So I actually view grid upgrades as quasi-defense spending in the world. And what has been a China story, realistically, like many industrial metals over the past 20 years, is fast becoming a real global demand story. And that is, of course, straining the supply side. Now, you mentioned the deficits. What we know is those deficits aren't going to happen. We need a combination of things. We need more supply, and we will probably need to ration demand to a certain extent as well. Now, that only comes from price. And I think those dynamics can be very interesting in the copper market over the coming years.
The thing that we're looking at here is the very early stages of demand growth for copper. All the things that Robert was speaking about, Colin was speaking about, decarbonization, electrification, connectivity, technology, all those things are going to be more copper intensive than what we've seen in the past. So we need to produce as an industry a lot more copper than we have in the past, yet it's more and more difficult. And we've got a lot of things in the hopper here at Freeport, which we'll talk more about. The industry is working hard to increase supplies, but it's a real challenge. And if it was easy, it would have been done already, but we know this business is difficult. We've got a lot of motivation to continue to grow our copper production to supply this world, which is better off because of copper.
Anglo American, one of the big mining companies, agreed to merge with another big mining company called Teck in Canada. And the plan is to form a definitive pure play, or nearest damn it, pure play, copper mining company, a giant copper mining company. So why have they done that? Well, there's only two other giant copper mining companies that I can find, and that's Anto Famagusta. I call it Anto because it's easy to pronounce, and Freeport McMoran. Freeport McMoran's in America, and Anto's in Chile. Well, with huge upcoming demand for copper, that's kind of a little bit skinny, isn't it? So the boards of Anglo America have decided that they're going to make the third big copper combine.